Hey guys, what's going on? Head out here with this Luster video that is taking me 2 weeks to do. Apologize for the long delay in videos. Life is just, I would say, a box of chocolates, but it's not. Anyway, before I get started with this video, tomorrow's update is going to finally be the final battle urgent quest. So if you haven't or aren't familiar with it, or you didn't do story or anything like that, it is the very last battle with the Oracle story. So really good fight. If you haven't done it, just do your story and you'll be there in no time. Got videos, I have links to videos for getting the final battle clear down. I'll put a card somewhere if I don't forget. But anyway, the Luster video that I promised to do a while back. So I've made a previous Luster video that's, about the skills, the weapons, and everything like that. But there are some more kind of like advanced stuff to the class and some more little details that I didn't go over because I just forgot, and the video would have been way too long if I included it in there. So I'm going to do just 2 parts of this video. It'll be all the same video, so don't worry about seeing a part 2 of this. I'm just going to do it all in one go. So if you haven't seen the previous videos about the stances, or if you've already been familiar with Luster with the stances, I won't really go over the stances too much, but just go over just the extra skills that I didn't cover, because there were just quite a few I didn't cover. So for this 2-parter, I'm going to do stationary rock bear just to show the basic skills and everything. Then I'm going to have him attacking because I kind of need him to showcase the other skills like countering yourself. So let's get on with it. So first things first with the 3 stances. Again, if you played Luster, you know the 3 stances. So anyway, you do have a couple of skills you can use besides using PAs. So you have, of course, you have your PA straight at the bottom down there, and then you have your smart PA just in case you want to use what's situational, which pretty much will get you to cover any distance, as I've always said. Plus you can use directionals to move, to change your PAs and everything like that. One thing I didn't really mention to go over were, okay, can you stop shooting please? Or you can just keep shooting. Anyway, will be the right bumper commands if you're on console like myself. So of course you have your normal shooting, and then of course if you double tap the right bumper, you switch into your 4th stance, and then you could just hold down shooting with that as well too. So this is a really non-elemental stance that you can use. This is very helpful if you have a lot of PP, which I do. And the neutral stance is pretty much just a straightforward damaging stance. There's nothing really, unnuanced about it or anything like that. So that was one thing I didn't really discuss over too much, was that one stance. So with your right bumper, again, this actually plays as a counter too. A lot of people don't use it as counter, which is fine, but I will showcase as a little bit. So when you're using your dodge, for me will be my left trigger. Of course, you have different attacks when you're using your dodge. So if you hold front or back, you could do a dodging attack just like that. And that's just for going into your locked on enemy. So make sure you're locked on to your enemy when you're doing that. And if you pull back, you do kind of a retreating shoot. And you can do that in any range, as long as you're locked onto the enemy. Of course, your close range one does nothing when, well, you're close range. So make sure you're getting close to your enemies when you're doing this. Side ones just does your side dodging as if you weren't locked on. So if you weren't locked on, you do the same thing. And of course, if you're in range of an enemy, you will automatically shoot. So this is good for, of course, moving really quickly, everything like that. So more attacks dealing with the A button, which will be just doing any follow attacks just like this. So you'll notice as you're attacking down with the A button on the ground, for me if you're using Xbox, you can do a series of extra attacks. And if you hold down the A button, you'll do a Zen burst. Now, depending on how filled up your HP is, I won't be able to show it here because the rock bear hits for 1 HP, and I'm not going to sit here and have him hit me to knock me down to 75% of my HP. But if you were 75% of your HP and lower, that Zen verse will turn to a Mejiverse, and so anyone can take advantage of that healing that you'll give. Although it's a very small field, it's still really good healing, especially if you're in the middle of combat and you don't, want to pop a mate or anything like that, or you're just in a situation where you just really can't pop a mate. you could be in the middle of attack even if you're either airborne or on the ground. So you can actually do this in the air. Just make sure you're moving around, because if you stay stationary, you just go straight down. So you could do that in a plethora of a lot of attacks, and this will help you get just a lot more damage out, especially if you keep your meters down below filled. Now when you're in the air, you can just keep following up with attacks like this. Of course, this does use a little PP, but it will keep you airborne. And if you stop moving and hold A button down, you'll just come down like that. So when you get all your skills for Lester, you can actually employ a fourth attack just by going like this. In the middle of your fourth attack, hit your right bumper to do this. Now that will change depending on your stance. So if I switch to my light, and then I switch to my lightning. Oops. And this will actually hit enemies in an AoE field. So if you're surrounded, you can just do that and just keep your attacks up. So that's really another cool skill that I didn't showcase. So now I'm going to switch to Rock Bear attacking, because I'm going to need him to attack to show you the different kind of counters. So give me 1 second and I'll be right back. Okay, so now that I've got the Rock Bear in attack, I'm going to show you the multiple different kind of counters you have. So again, make sure that you're locked onto your enemy for these counters, unless other than that you just do regular type counters. So you have 3 counters. You have your close range attack counter, and your retreating counter, and then your right bumper counter. So I'm going to show you the right bumper counter, and of course I was too far away from him. Okay, so as soon as he's... So you have just your straight counter, which will actually activate your, based on your stance. So for my lightning stance right now, my evade skill and everything just gets increased. And of course, I was too far away. I apologize for that. But anyway, could have did the close range counter, but I'm just going to do the retreating counter. And see, that's your retreating counter. So you can do that going forward or going backwards, and that will help you just cover some ground from enemies, especially if you're using your light stance. Of course, I let him hit me. So I'm going to show you the third counter, and that right there, you got to hit immediately afterwards, which I should have done. But after you do that, of course I missed again, and he hit me again. And there you go. So you'll have those 3 counters to play with. So you just pretty much use them as a situation unfolds, and you'll be fine in combat. And so he just tried to hit me, so I decided to retreat. So if I was like in my physical attacking stance or my more dominant fighting stance, I'd use that counter and, you know, do a little more damage. Of course, varies on what your weapons are. But anyway, I hope that helped you guys out a little bit about just some extra moves in case you guys didn't know your different counters and other stuff like that. If you guys have any questions with Lester, just feel free to let me know down in the comments below, and see you guys in the next video. Peace.